When I first met Michael Ormiston, I met him as a teacher. However, in time, I discovered he was much more than that. He's a performer, a multi-instrumentalist, an experimentalist, a sound transformer, a friend.
I've been involved in khoomii, Mongolian overtone singing, since I first heard it in 1988 in August. I went to check out some Mongolian music and dance because I knew nothing about it, and I was really into what was just then becoming world music, and I used to go to loads of concerts, and so I checked it out, and it really, when I heard this man sing some khoomii, it did two things. It sort of went to me, and it sort of resonated me sort of here, and then there was, what's he doing? It was like very strange, and I play lots of stringed instruments, and so I understood what harmonics were, but I had no idea that you could sing it with the voice. So I got totally inspired. There's a lot of processes involved. The first process was hearing it, being inspired. That's the process. Hearing it and being inspired. And I've met people who've learnt versions of overtone singing just by doing that. So I would go, I used to strum my guitar on E for hours, just going on. And then when I went to the Song of Harmonics film, which would be in 1989, I can put the tongue in the roof mouth. What? No control, but at least I can hear a few harmonics and stuff. So I was teaching myself. I went to a workshop. A woman who's been involved a lot with overtone singing and therapeutic sounds, a woman called Jill Peirce. And so because I was searching out everything in England, and that was the only thing. So I went to a workshop. She talked a lot, but didn't really teach me much. She does a very Western type of style of singing, which I'll sort of explain. It's more of just doing vowels. A little bit higher for her, which is different to a Mongolian singing. You can hear it if you go to a workshop. That helped me a lot in developing my voice, in actual fact, and thinking about how the voice is so much connected with our body and our breath. So I knew about the technique with the tongue, but the thing that I was really taught in Mongolia by Serendawa in the Western Mongolia, and Gerrit Salt, and also Sengadorj as well, was to sound more Mongolian in the sense of the basic sound. And that was quite hard because it was done by imitation. So we would be in the round felt tents, and Serendawa didn't know much English, but he'll look at the Mongolian lesson 1. Here we go. And lesson 1 was basically trying to get this guttural sound. So instead of sort of going he'll go and he'll do all these things, and he'll push you a little bit and say, "God, here like this," and you go, "What am I doing?" And then his exercise, and I was going, because it's like really difficult. They don't teach it as such. Basically, they might advise you. That is different, but in Chandaman Sum in the Western Mongolia, where it's very strong, the way they do it is a kid would just try and do it. They then might go to their dad, their uncle, their granddad, or even to Serendawa or a respected singer, and try and learn a little bit more. Good day. Good day. Wait for me. None of you said you had to wait for me. Okay, so there's a number of different styles, but the basic style that which I was taught was called Taganine khoomii, which means palatal khoomii. So that uses the tongue on the hard palate. Roughly the flattened tip of the tongue stays in one place, while the middle of the tongue and the back of the tongue just moves up and down. So there's a physical movement. So to do that, you could just sing that without, first of all, the more Mongolian guttural sound. This shahaltai comes from the word to press or to squeeze, and that needs a lot of support. So what you really need to do is have very strong muscles in your abdomen and the smaller back, and a very open. You need a very open chest. You need a very open, very well supported throat, open where your larynx is. It needs a lot of resonance. Serendava says basically you need good throat strength, or good throat lining strength. Really opens up the throat. Then you need to have this very little kink. When you do an E, that actually tightens up at your pharynx just a little bit like an hourglass. And that then creates this compressed shahaltai sound. Then you use exactly the same technique. And that uses a lot of physical strength. Serendava has said you need to be a good khoomii singer, you've got to be a bit like a sports person.
How long will
Some say that behind every great man there is a great woman. Yet Candida is right by Michael's side.
I've been working with Michael Ormiston since 1999, when I first met him actually, and I was inspired by his music to take on and learn the art of khoomii singing. I'd been doing overtone singing with a man called Roland Rochelle previously, and had trained in sound healing therapy, and really wanted to sort of explore my voice using harmonics, and Michael seemed the perfect person to sort of get in contact with at that time, and I started having lessons with him in 1999. I have been practicing for the last 4 or 5 years to sing this undertone style, and it's just something I felt that I needed to do in my voice. So the thing you can do with it is sing words. So I'll just do an improvisational word, won't be real words. The idea is to try and create some vowels that change, obviously, the harmonics. So you actually hear more clear harmonics coming through from the undertones.
There you go.
How does it feel play together, perform together?
Well, it's become quite natural, hasn't it? Because we live together and we're partners, so we're just, you know, we sort of know each other quite well. So it's quite easy in some ways to play. It's the most natural thing to then play together.
Which has become a challenge, and so you know, there's meant to be the old adage: you should never have never have a professional relationship and a personal relationship, but we do, and it can work. It just has its ups and downs, like that's a normal thing in life.
Yeah.
And so it's great. To me, it brings me miles closer to Candida. Fantastic. Everything is a ritual if you decide it to be a ritual. Opening the door can be a ritual. I think if I'm doing a concert and I put on a different clothing, that's very ritualistic. It's a form of focusing you're on this event. Some people will say it's just a costume, so it depends on where. I think depending on what I'm doing as well, like the concert that you saw us with the gongs is on the line of like a therapeutic sound transformational event, and there I think it's great just to help the situation. It doesn't have to be being very grave, but just focus and intent.
healing journey. So it's exploring different ways of sound, whether with the voice, with an instrument, with drums, with flutes, singing Tibetan singing bowls and gongs, and yeah, it's just it's just vibration that people can really move into and explore in themselves, how they feel when they hear a certain sound. And some people like to move, some people like to sit still, so it's, you know, it's open to interpretation.
And I also, I don't know how you felt, but I could really feel different parts of my body resonating at different times with different sounds. So sometimes I would really feel it around the top of my head, and other times I would feel it more in my throat. Or I could feel it, I could feel the vibrations working in my body.
Like this. How do you feel now?
Very uplifted, very relaxed. Sort of, I've been taken to a deep journey into myself. It's almost quite sort of like walking out into the London streets right now. I feel almost like I'll be floating along.
This one here was in 2005, and it's with Selandawa, who's my teacher, his son, and this is Batajo, who's another very good khoomii singer, and his son. And this was at the 80th anniversary of their village, in communist type of terms. That's when the power station got built. And I was very fortunate as well to be invited to sing there as well. You can see me with very short hair. So that's a great privilege to be sort of in this sort of culture. I'm never going to be in the culture, but to be accepted for what I do and for what I am. This is Serendava again. And he, when he was a lad, he used to herd, and this is part of the Altai, the Jharkhand Altai mountains, and he used to herd. There's a little river that goes down here, and at winter time they used to be up in this part, and he could hear the sound of the water and the wind, and this was one of his inspirations for khoomii, and there's lots of stories about that. And so he built a little thing called an owo, which is a pile of stones, a cairn, to thank the mountain, the spirit of the place, you could say, for khoomii. And we went up there, and he never actually showed that to me until in 2005. And he sang some khoomii in his singing style, with saying words and overtones as a little prayer. That's another inspiring thing for me, which is the landscape of Mongolia. I live in a city most of my life, and when you get to places like this, for me, it goes, whoa, the air is fantastic. This is the Jharkhand Altai, and this is Chandramansum, so this is where khoomii is. So it reminds me, I can visualise sometimes when I'm performing something like that. It actually transformed me. It might sound like it's the road to Damascus, St. Paul sort of thing, but it did wake me up. I was working in computing and very unhappy in my life, earning lots of money relative to now, but this type of singing, or was it this man, or whatever it was, got things going for me. And I bought the cassette of the concert, went back home, what am I doing, don't know, and then I started trying to find out about it, and it went on from there until now.